Turn it on. It's 7:02. I call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call.
Bennett.
Here.
Leosa.
Here.
Mealy.
Here.
Sasso.
Here.
Skiara.
Here.
Woteki.
Here.
Matthews.
Here. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the annual schedule of regular meetings, herefore adopted and posted on the public bulletin board at the municipal building, emailed to the Herald News, the Record, and the Gazette, and all persons who requested the mailing as such since November 19th, 2024. Approval of minutes. Can I have approval for the minutes of the regular meeting of April 16, 2025?
So moved.
Motion by Witecki. Motion by Skiera.
Close enough.
Second by Witecki. Roll call.
Woteki.
I'm going with yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment. I'll now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, come forward to the microphone and state your name for the record. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting.
Sasso, second.
Was that Witecki? Witecki, for the motion, second by Sasso. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Adoption of ordinances. We have Budget Ordinance 2366-25, 2025 municipal budget appropriation limits to establish a cap bank pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-45.14. Now open the meeting to the public. Anyone desires to be heard regarding this ordinance, please raise your hand, come forward to the microphone. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion that the hearing on this ordinance has been closed and the ordinance has been posted on the bulletin board in which public notices were customarily posted, published in the record, and made available on the borough website and available to the public. Now therefore be it resolved, this ordinance be adopted and the clerk is authorized to advertise the same according to law. Can I have a motion? So moved. Motion by Mealy,
Second.
second by Leosa. Roll call.
Bennett.
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Woteki.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 2367-25, an ordinance to further amend and supplement the code of the Borough of Hawthorne to revise various rates set forth in Chapter 220 Fees, Section 12 Parks and Recreation. I now open the meeting to the public. Anyone desires to be heard regarding this ordinance, please raise your hand and be recognized. Come forward to the microphone and state your names. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion that the public hearing on this ordinance be closed and that it be resolved this ordinance was posted on the bulletin board in which public notices are customarily posted, published in the record, and made available on the borough website, and available to the public. Therefore be it resolved, this ordinance be adopted by the clerk and authorized to advertise the same according to law. Motion.
So moved. I
Motion
got it.
by Mealy,
Yeah. Second.
second by Bennett. Roll call.
Woteki.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance 2368-25. Now, if you remember when we introduced it, I said there was a typo on it and that item 5 should have been deleted. This version that you currently have has that item deleted. An ordinance to fix the 2025 salaries, wages, and compensation of the employees of the Borough of Hawthorne, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey. I now open a meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard on this ordinance, please raise your hand and be recognized. Come forward to the microphone, state your name. Seeing none, I entertain a motion that the public hearing on this ordinance be closed and that it be resolved that this ordinance was posted on bulletin board in which public notices are customarily posted, published in the record, and made available on the borough website and available to the public. Therefore, be it resolved, this ordinance be adopted and the clerk is authorized to advertise the same according to law. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Sasso, second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Sasso. Any discussion? Would you care to share?
Okay, so I'm sorry, where are we at?
Well, we had a motion and a second,
Okay.
but is there an issue?
And that was,
Salary.
well, if we'll finish this, then I can let you know, because I'm going to have to go print some new, some
It's
new.
not regarding this issue? Not
Correct.
this ordinance?
It's not on this ordinance.
Okay.
Roll call.
I didn't get the
Bennett
motion in
and
the
Sasso.
second.
It was,
Bennett and
Bruce
Sasso.
and Anne Marie. There you go.
Thank you. Bennett,
Yes.
Leosa,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Watecki.
Yes.
Matthews.
No.
Okay, motion carries.
Should I stall?
So, I'm sorry, President, so, the budget resolutions, BR 01 and BR 02, have fallen off of this agenda. So I'll need to go to my office and reprint the agenda. So if, Michael, you want to take over roll call? Okay.
What do we- From the previous version. Yeah, I got it.
No, you're all good. It's been a moving target all day.
What do we, the previous agenda before you got the revised one tonight at BR 01-25 and BR 025, right before the resolutions.
Right. We are adopting the budget, we hope, tonight, so.
Right.
Yeah, it's, like I said, we've been tinkering with the agenda all day today. So. So, Council President, you're up to ordinance number 2369, I believe.
Yeah, okay. If you recall, for ordinance number 2369-25, at our last meeting, we introduced it, making North Eighth a one-way street on a temporary basis from Golfo Road into Prospect Park. Well, the Passaic County Administrator has indicated at this point Prospect Park is not in concurrence, and that we have to basically have a motion to table the ordinance that was introduced, pending the resolution raised by Passaic County Council. So they told us to hurry up and do something, and then they said, oops.
I'm sure Michael will fill us in on details.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's really, go ahead,
Once
Mayor.
we,
President,
well, don't we have?
the email that I received, the email that I received from the county administrator stated that the project would continue, and everything was on order, and it was going to be a temporary basis up to 60 days. Then I got an email from the administrator probably a week later or so, week and a half later, saying that the mayor of Prospect Park is not in concurrence with this at this time. So the administrator and the mayor of Prospect Park had a meeting, and what the mayor of Prospect Park asked us to do is if we would wait until they make North Sixth Street in Prospect Park a one-way. And that's gonna
Coming the other way.
come,
you gotta-
well, no, actually, North Sixth Street goes down to basically right by the bridge. So it'll be in concurrence with that, probably sometime October or November. So that's, and I said to Matt, I said, Matt, we've waited almost 3 years now. Another couple of months isn't gonna,
I don't have an issue with that. It's
too
just that the
much.
county kind of said they had agreements from both towns, let's move it forward, and then, oops. Nothing we did or anything
no,
like
it's
that.
not, it's, actually, it's nothing we did, and, you know, and so everything basically on our part is on hold right
Okay.
now.
So what I'm asking for is a motion to table the ordinance, the motion for 2369-25, and we'll pick it up at a future date.
So move.
Motion by Mealy, motion to table, and there was a second.
Sasso, second.
Second by Sasso.
This is just the motion to table.
Just
it,
a
right?
motion to
Correct.
table.
This is not approving or denying, it's just like it never happened.
I will call the roll then.
Question.
As No discussion on such a motion.
But if I didn't vote on it, do I
You can
abstain?
still vote on the motion to table. So, Watecki,
Yes.
Skiara,
Abstain.
Sasa,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Leosa,
Yes.
Bennett,
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, old business. Joe, we'll start your way.
Excellent. If I could start with the management of recycling and trash collection trucks, I haven't heard anything since when I brought it up. I was just curious where we are. I have noticed trucks coming in and starting going right after they're going over the bridge. I'm curious if there's a list of times that they've been inspected prior to going out on the roads.
I believe there is, Joe. I don't have the list here, but I believe there is a list.
All right. Because I did send a text, an email, stating the truck just came over the Lincoln Avenue Bridge from 20 and just started doing collection without even going to the DPW yard. So I'm guessing that guy,
Didn't get the memo.
he didn't get the memo. I know they have GPS.
Yeah,
So I'm just curious, do we have some structure in place that says, you know, they're not going to hop right onto Franklin Avenue?
they're supposed to, however they come into Hawthorne, no matter what bridge they cross, they're supposed to go up to the DPW yard at a couple minutes before 7, at 7 o'clock, have the truck get checked, and then they can go out on their route.
All right, because I know they park their employees' cars in the ball fields, come over Lincoln Avenue Bridge, and drop them off, or pick them up onto the trucks, and then go. So I really, like, similar to the geese police that you gave me, if I could ask so kindly. Yeah. All right. And then the next thing I have is the parking on North 8th Street continues to be on both sides. Were we ever able to address that establishment that didn't have the certificate of occupancy?
The auto body place,
Yes.
on, the auto body place on North 8th Street.
So, are they
The
the
Goffel Road, North 8th Street, that did it,
No, there was two. The one on North 8th Street got closed down.
and they're not operating.
That's, to
Then
my
where are
knowledge, they're
these
not
vehicles coming from that are parking?
And the one, at 150 Goffel Road, the other auto body place, that's actually closed down now until he actually makes new application to the planning board.
separate votes? And now there's the-
Frank, did you get an application for planning board for 150 Auto Body?
He didn't bring it in yet.
that would
But
be
I
an
know they're open. I see people working in there.
150 auto
I'll-
body. Is that the one?
That's the one where,
We sent them back, because it's not
sent
even
him back a couple
licensed.
times because of the paperwork.
He has no license.
He has no state license.
He has no license,
Yeah.
right. And
Who then, what authority goes in there and says, stop working?
our zoning officer, our fire marshal, and I don't think the police, unless there's an altercation, but the zoning and.
May I ask that we have them visit and to please get the cars off North 8th Street? Because they're nice. They put cones behind them and they're very, but you can't get a car or an ambulance or a fire engine.
Let me ask you this, the cars that you saw on North 8th Street would have cones on it? Because I saw the cones also. Are they the people who live there?
No,
They're not?
no.
Okay.
May I can give a little clarification because I deal with a lot of people in this industry, in the auto body industry. They are able to work on their own vehicles, not anybody else's. If they're working on anyone else's vehicle, they can receive a huge fine. They have to have a certificate from the state.
Right.
If they don't have the state, it could be $5,000 a day. But if they're working on their own personal vehicles, they're allowed to do that. So that's just some clarification that you can call and just say, hey, we see them operating, and you may want to make a phone call and just say, hey, you may want to drop in and see this. They're being very disruptive to the neighborhood. But I will tell you that if they're working on their own vehicles, they're allowed to do it.
Well, they at 150 Goffel Road, they actually were shut down because they're not working on their own vehicles.
There you go.
And the other thing too is, if you go by there, the lot basically is full of vehicles. It's not, just 3 or 4 vehicles. They were told they could have, I think, 4 or 6 vehicles in the lot, plus whatever vehicle is inside. But he's got the whole thing, it's filled.
I'm just telling you how they can circumvent it, and maybe just making a call to the state. because they had to have a license, an auto body collision license.
I know Glenn and Chris did have a meeting, and I know they went down there. I haven't asked them recently, but I will take care of it tomorrow.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
While we're talking about Glenn and going out, you know that little repair shop that we approved at the planning board behind what was that old bait and tackle shop?
Yes, 43 Goffel Road.
It looks like it's a junkyard back there. Must be 100 cars back there.
There, well, Glenn is, actually,
Just since he's in that neighborhood.
Glenn is working, well, that's almost at the corner of West Mohawk.
Yeah, a little bit next to the.
No,
concrete
west
place.
of L, west of
Yes,
L.
Yes.
Glenn and Chris are definitely working in there because the auto body place was told either shape up or we're gonna pull your approval.
Yeah.
And the building that has the number 43 on it, that building there, Glenn told me that the owner is working on another tenant to see what they can do. And the fella in the back, I believe he only had, the repair shop, he only has room for 4 cars.
Oh, so it's really the guy closest to Prospect Park that's got all the
Correct.
extra cars.
Exactly, because if you remember, the mechanic that's in the back of the number 43, he came to the planning board and we gave him
It's a
approval.
small little business, it
Right,
sounded like.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Is that it, Joe? That's it. Michael?
No, not tonight, thanks.
Rena?
Not tonight.
Bruce?
No, sir.
Anna Marie?
Old business, I suspect my question will be answered by a borough attorney, so I have nothing.
Dominic?
I'm okay.
New business? Dominic?
I'm okay.
Anna Marie?
New business, I just want to follow up with borough attorney. How are we doing on the ordinance that we agreed upon for safety issues with all items, e-bike, e-scooters? Because now it's spring, they're all out, so I'd like to button that up if we can.
I will. I did tell you I'd try to have it draft in your hands for now. I did not get it done this week, but I will get it for you before the next meeting.
Thank you.
And if we're good with it, we'll move it to the agenda.
Okay.
But yes, I owe you that one, 2 weeks, Frank.
Thank you, sir.
And to answer your first question, I wasn't planning on reporting on Mr. Spoilda's junkyard. But nothing has happened
we
other
look
than
forward to
we
it.
have a trial date in June.
Oof, we can't do anything else before then?
We are doing everything we can. We are giving him summonses constantly. Again, he is
Just adds them to the
just,
pile.
there is a problem there that he refuses to live neighborly with the rest. It's a shame what this individual has done to our town. And the fact that he keeps running for public office is an outright disgrace.
I understand, it's in the legal system hopper, right? We have a trial date, but the residents are so frustrated. We all know this is a 30-year-old boil on certainly all of his neighbors that properties touch. He's building another arsenal of garbage. So I guess what, I wanted to ask is, it takes time for you to get a judge to say, go ahead, go on the property and remove his garbage, as we've done once before, or twice, I believe. And the borough has been so patient with this resident. So I personally am no longer patient. So I just want to say, can't we just start the ball rolling on another request from the judge to go on there and clean his property again? And, honestly, aggravate him as much as he aggravates all of his residents, because it's nothing but a horrible situation.
Every time we do something, he finds more garbage to bring onto his property, more rubbish and more, he is just a trash collector. There's something seriously wrong going on there. We all know it. We have already instructed our EMS, they cannot enter that property if something happens there because it's a life hazard situation. How to treat something like this is a societal problem. We're not the only communities dealing with this, unfortunately, and I've seen other communities equally frustrated by an individual who is, except with this individual, he's far more calculating. And it's a shame. What a disgraceful human being.
I do understand all that. We know that he's far more patient than we are, but my voice right now is for the people that live boundary to boundary with him. It's not fair, and we represent them. I'm just pushing this now. We need to push that envelope, push for that judgment to go on his property again and again and again, because we work for the residents, and those residents are suffering at his hand. He's irritating all of us, but they're the ones who are at his hand suffering because he doesn't care. We have to care. We do care. And I know it's probably a cumbersome task for you. I get it. But we're hearing their complaints. I get it. I wouldn't want to live next door to him, would you? He's punishing his neighbors. And we know he can be very vindictive. So I'm going to keep asking.
And apparently, he's smarter than most of the judges he's been appearing before.
He's just got more time, and it's
Yeah, but,
it's not
again,
fair. It's not
everybody-
our fault. I'm
I-
not suggesting
look-
that, but I say we have to have as much wherewithal as we can possibly summons up
I
for the residents that
realize-
touch his property.
Look, I know everyone here is frustrated with it, and I wish there was a magic potion to make it happen. It's not that he's smarter than the judges, he's not that he's harder working. Unfortunately, there are few answers to this kind of situation. And so there were thousands of cases in the court, and this one is not going to get a priority over others. Unfortunately, it is not a life safety issue or
It
an
could
issue
be.
but it's not in the sense of being able to declare it a property that, for instance, is in imminent danger where we could do something
Well,
different.
what was our basis
We
for the
don't
first
know.
court case?
We
I
haven't
mean,
been in there.
We're not suggesting it's that, but
We-
we've
we
been
d-
30
we-
years patient, Michael, so we
We
made.
can't just go into someone's property to look and see
You
if
don't
it's
have to.
dangerous.
You just drive by. I mean, we had a court case before. Let's continue to do our due diligence on behalf of our
We-
residents.
we
We've been
are.
swallowing, I know that, but.
We are.
In terms of being able to go on the property and remove his garbage, as we have, I believe it was 2 times. 'cause
We
the
were
first time he
given
got
a
stay.
brief window to do so. He got an order stopping us from doing so, and then he brought more garbage onto the property
So what's prohibiting us
and
from doing it
sued
again
us.
and again and again? Just like
Judges, there
Have
is
we
a
asked the
court.
judges?
No, there is a
Can't get
court.
before
can't?
one.
There, stop. There is a court order right now prohibiting us from doing that. And that, until we
Okay.
can get back before a court to hear whether or not that order should be lifted. So that's where we stand. We have a court order from Judge Abdul Hadi in Prospect Park, who really took this very seriously and freed us up to do this. It was great. And then he got a Superior Court judge to stay the action. And that's what happened. We removed garbage. Now he wants to sue us for taking his
I
garbage.
know, he wants his garbage back, but that information that you just gave me and our residents is very important, and I didn't know it before. So hopefully that will assuage the residents that are at his hand suffering a bit longer. So I appreciate
hope
that,
so.
that sentence, because I didn't know that, so I couldn't relay it to the residents around him, that our hands are absolutely tied at this moment. So I appreciate that.
Could I just piggyback 1 second? And I know we talked about this, what I'm going to bring up once before. But could we have a reevaluation from the fire department? Because if any of that rubbish in his front yard goes up, it is going to be detrimental to not only his home, but the neighbor's home. And I'm just using common sense, I gotta think that there's a hazardous there.
The officials who have a right to declare a hazardous situation have never found that there is one that is, and we've had those type of situations where you have a public health situation. It's not that. It's unsightly, it's disgraceful, it's wrong, it's unfair to the neighbors. But it is not a life safety issue that we can go in and affirmatively enter someone's property without any legal cause or basis to do so. We can't just go into someone's house.
I'm sensitive to what you're saying, but I'm thinking about the people that live next door and saying, you're telling me that this stuff laying on the fence next to my own property, it's not a hazardous? If a match hits it and it goes up, I don't know. I look at it a little different. That's why I asked for a reevaluation. Could you look at it again to see if,
we will have our fire inspector look at the property. We will have anyone who has such authority look at the property. But I'm telling you that there is a court order in place that stops us from doing that which all of you want us to do. And I mean, we're doing what we can. I get it. And all of you are frustrated by it, and I am sensitive to it.
How
I
come
think
he
it's
had
all-
no problem getting before a judge quickly to get a court order, but we can't?
We have been before judges, Bruce, and unfortunately, there is a process that has to be followed. We also have a lawsuit against us, and rather than us really doing nothing with it, our JIF is defending it. And our JIF has turned this into a much bigger case than it needs be. And so there's discovery going on and things like that. They're worried about defending the case. I'm worried about cleaning up the property. That doesn't help either. So he plays the system. He-
Very well.
He does, but, again.
Maybe
he-
we'll hire him next time.
Well, listen, all of the snide comments aside, we are working hard to try to fix this problem. And I know it's easy to sit there and say, do this, do this, do this. We are doing everything we can. It's just not as easy as everybody wants to believe it is.
Could I switch properties and ask a similar question? How's our Brookside situation?
The Brookside situation has not changed because, once again, there is not a situation there where a inspector from the borough has been able to determine that there is a life safety issue.
No,
So,
but now it's a vacant and abandoned property since it's not livable.
yes,
Have they been added to the vacant and abandoned property list so that he can receive the fines that we are allowed to give for that?
he is on the vacant and abandoned
Okay,
list.
that's all.
Yes.
I didn't know the answer, so at least.
Yes.
Okay,
That
good
is-
job.
One for two.
Figured he needed a bone.
Thank you, Frank.
Rena?
I actually have something good news to share after all this. I just want to announce that Hawthorne, I've been working with the borough, with our recycling coordinator and our director. We are having, launching our Hawthorne plastic film recycling program. So we will be collecting all kinds of produce bags, store bags, ice bags, Ziploc, cereal boxes, case overwrap of your water, your paper towels, your napkins, newspaper sleeves, dry cleaning bags, and bubble wrap. And all those Amazon bags that we get that, as long as you can stretch the film, we're going to be collecting that. So we're going to be launching this on Saturday, May 10th. And we're really excited to finally get this off the ground. We've been talking about plastic film for the last several years. So we will be doing a press release tonight, and Lisa is working on our webpage with the information, what you can recycle and what you can't recycle. So it's not just the plastic bags that we used to have at the supermarkets, it's all the plastic bags that we have, like your bread and your hamburger rolls. So it's something that we're going to do, and we're launching on Saturday. And it's permanent. It's at the recycling center, so 7 days a week. So all those plastic bags you have downstairs that you've been collecting, I know there's been people out there, we can just bring them down to the recycling center. We don't have to bring them to the
Or you can
supermarkets
give him
anymore.
a fill.
Well, I don't think so. We need to recycle. I like to get the tonnage for our tonnage report. So just want to announce that, and it's all good news. It's just another item that we're adding to the recycling center. Thanks.
Mike?
No, not tonight, thanks.
Joe?
I can't follow that.
I just have one question. When are we doing the tree replanting in the spring?
We're almost done.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't get the tree I was looking for.
Let me have it. Write it down.
All right, I'll talk to you later. It's actually not on my yard, it's on somebody else's yard, but it's between our driveways. We keep planting trees and they just die there.
Or the deer are eating it, one or the other.
No, it just died.
Okay.
So, okay. That's all I have. We'll turn to administrative agenda presented by Mayor Lane.
Thank you, Mr. President. This evening, I have two proclamations, and I would like one person to come up to receive the It's also Mental Health Week, Mental Health Month, so this is fit, and we are, it'll be in my report, we're going to have our Mayor's Wellness Walk, and I'll explain a little bit more on that and later, but Jim, can you come up?
I'm wearing my green tie and pen.
Blind you.
Hey, Jim.
More comfortable than the t-shirts.
Camera's right there, okay? Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation. Whereas all Americans experience times of difficulty and stress in their lives, and preservation is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health conditions. And whereas there is a strong research that animal companionship, humor, spirituality, religion, recreation, social connections, and work-life balance can help all Americans protect their health and well-being. And whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health and other chronic health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government agency, healthcare provider, organization, and citizen shares the burden of mental health problems and as a responsibility to promote mental wellness and support prevention efforts. Now, therefore, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Hawthorne do hereby proclaim May 2025 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Borough of Hawthorne, and we also call upon the citizens, public and private, institutions, businesses, and schools in Hawthorne, New Jersey, to recommit our community to the increasing awareness and understanding of mental health, the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health, and to need for appropriate and accessible service for all the people with mental health conditions. In witness whereof I have unto set my hand the cause of the seal of the Borough of Hawthorne to be affixed this 7th day of May, 2025, signed by myself as mayor and the full council.
Thank you, Mayor.
As the chairman of the committee, I'd like to present that to you for you and your committee.
Thank you.
And there's,
All right.
the camera's right there. You want to say a few words?
Okay. You want that picture?
Oh.
All I'll say is we do have the walk on Sunday, May 18. We've been inviting the schools, we've been inviting the community, and it'll be Sunday at 1 o'clock. We'll be done by 3:30, and it's pretty simple. We have retro fitness gums, they warm everybody up. We take a walk through the park, and afterwards there's some ice cream, there's some food, and a bunch of the resources that our town provides for the community. A lot of the resources, I think people aren't even aware how much this town does offer for the community. And so all those resources will be made available at that time. So
Jim, tell them where.
May 18 at the Hawthorne High School.
At the high school field.
I know
It's
where
in my
it is.
report.
And
I know
we'll
where it
walk
is. I
out
was
from
letting him
there.
know.
No, thank you for the clarification. Yeah, May 18, 1 p.m. We leave from the high school, and then we walk through the park, and we come back. And our friends from St. Joe's Mental Health Division will be there with a lot of fun games for the kids. So we have a lot going on that
Yeah.
day.
And thank you for what you do for us, and the Stigma-Free Committee that you're chair of also is just knocking it out of the park. So thank you for everything that you do for us and for our residents.
Appreciate that very
Thank
much.
you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, it's May, and it's EMS week, and I'd like to have the chief, Timmy O'Brien, to come up, and I'll present this proclamation to he and the members of the, and do you want anybody else to come up? You want, come on, all of you, come on up.
They're here, might as well.
Chris, come on, Chris, you too. No way, sir. Very good. Good. You're gonna have to, the camera's right there. You see it?
Come on, guys, fill in.
doesn't bite. Come on in.
Come on.
Don't be shy.
Shorter in front, tall in back.
Okay, this is a proclamation from the mayor and council of the Borough of Hawthorne. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of the emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the members of the emergency medical service teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas is it appropriate to recognize and appreciate the value and the accomplishments of the William B. Mawhinney Memorial Ambulance Corps members that serve our community and keep us safe. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Hawthorne do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through 24, 2025 as Emergency Medical Services Week in the Borough of Hawthorne in recognition to the Hawthorne Volunteer Ambulance Corps and all those engaged in emergency service, medical services activities, and encourage the community to observe this week with the appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. In witness whereof, I have set my hand to the cause of the seal of the Borough of Hawthorne to be affixed to the 7th day of May 2025, signed by me as the mayor and the full council. Congratulations, and I just want to say thank you very much for all that you do for the Borough of Hawthorne.
Mayor Lane and council.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Come on, fill in.
Go ahead. Go in the front. Here.
Where do you want me to go? Okay. Come here, John.
Break everything.
Cheese.
One more?
You blink.
Uno más?
Thank you
Thank
for what you
you.
do.
Jimmy?
Thank you, guys.
You're the best of the best.
Thank you.
Hopefully not this.
Where you guys going?
Keep going.
Off this.
Was,
No,
was it
there are
something we
lives to
said?
save.
Don't leave.
There's,
They have to go save lives.
It's exciting now.
I think I heard an alarm go.
Yeah, the tones went off. Okay, grace period for taxes that were due was extended to Monday, May 12th. If you send in a post-dated check for payment of the water or tax bills, it can be accepted and will be returned to you via U.S. mail. Put the phone away or pay the nationwide campaign, which ran from April 1st to April 30th. The campaign was aimed at tackling distracted drivers and raising awareness among drivers about the deadly damages and legal consequences for texting while driving. The Hawthorne Police Department promoted and engaged in this campaign. 25 Hawthorne police officers dedicated a total of 100 hours towards this traffic safety initiative throughout the borough, resulting in 220 motor vehicle stops, 255 summonses, 97 warnings, and 9 arrests. Also, May is Motorcycle and Bicycle Safety Awareness Month. I'll have more information in my Friday letter. On Sunday, May 18th, the mayor's annual Walk for Wellness will take place. The event begins at 1 p.m. at the high school track. We will start with warm-ups with Retro Fitness, have a walk through the park to the pond and back, and there will be vendors, food, and other attractions until 3:30 p.m. Please join us. It's all free. Many of you have called our offices saying that they had no idea of certain news events. I encourage you to sign up for Nixle for my newsletters, or go to our website to read the newsletter and see the flyers, which are now posted under News. The Ambulance Corps will be holding a blood drive during EMS Week at the ambulance building on Thursday, May 22nd, from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. There will be free giveaways to all the people who donated. Please try to make that day, because there are so many people in hospitals today that need blood, and the blood is basically very shortage. Our Borough Clerk and Election Official Laurie Fernandez reminds everyone that primary election is Tuesday, June 10th. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. The voter registration deadline for primary is Tuesday, May 20th. That would be for new voters, change of name or change of address. Early voting for the primary is June 3rd through June 8th at the library. Weekdays and Saturdays, voting is available from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Please check our website and cable channels for more information. Our Memorial Day service and parade will take place on Monday, May 26th. The service will be at 12 noon, and the parade will step off at 1:30 p.m. This year's Grand Marshal is Paul Chaperko. Please join us in remembering all of our brave servicemen and women who have given their life for the freedom that we have, and are the members of a service who are actually on active duty at present. And that concludes my report, and I'll turn it over to my attorney, Michael Pasquale.
Thank you, Mayor. As to the ambulance corps, I just wanted to say this. John, of course, the mayor, is a life member of the ambulance corps, one of its most dedicated volunteers. He came to my house one Thanksgiving when my grandfather had an incident. There was John and Margot on Thanksgiving Day in their volunteer outfits, and they could not have been more caring. My mother recently, as many of you know, fell and broke her arm. The ambulance was there quickly, compassionately. Matthew Fencart, who happened to be one of my daughter's closest friends growing up, so he knew my mother, was the lead person with the group, and they were just phenomenal. You get more, the people of this town can't appreciate what this group does. They buy their own rigs, they buy their own equipment. We don't buy their rigs, they pay for that. We end up with man hours based on the volunteer hours. Some of these people work 1,400 to 1,600 volunteer hours a year, which is insane. That's a job in addition to their regular jobs. If we had a paid department, we'd pay them $1.5 million to do that, which they do for free. So when you have to write a check to a group in this town, write it to the ambulance corps, or the band shell, of course. I'm going to give a single issue report, since I already report on other things anyway, and that's on affordable housing. Last night, I was privileged to appear before the planning board, and I want to give you the benefit of the same report, hopefully somewhat abbreviated. The planning board will be considering at its meeting of June 3rd, two important items. The first of those items is the closeout of the redevelopment study for the Pan Chemical site at 1 Washington. The Pan Chemical site, as you know, is one that we've authorized an area in need of redevelopment study. The planning board will be determining whether or not that property qualifies as an area in need of redevelopment. It seemingly does on a pretty obvious basis, since it's contaminated, vacant, all the things you would look for an area in need of redevelopment. The other thing they will be receiving and considering is a housing element and fair share plan. John Sabo is preparing that report. They will presumably or hopefully adopt that report on June 3rd, and then the next night it would come here for consideration by this council. Your consideration would be an endorsement of that plan, hopefully again approved, and then if approved, it would be uploaded to the Superior Court, and our immunity from builder's remedy lawsuits would continue. It would be very easy for people to kind of cowboy it and say, I'm against the whole concept, but that would expose the municipality to builder's remedy lawsuits that will result in, say, 7-story buildings where we're trying to keep them at 3. that would result in densities decided by a judge rather than those we're trying to decide on our own. So I heartily encourage both the planning board and the council to really consider the Housing Element Fair Share Plan seriously and realize that the alternative to playing by the rules established, as onerous and unfun as they are, is to expose the municipality to builders' remedy lawsuits. And they never go well. Ask the people in Englewood Cliffs how that worked for them. They spent $1.5 million and they lost badly. The two properties we are focusing on in our report, and you will see it, are the Pan Chemical site and the Hawthorne Chevy site right nearby. Those sites are both ones that we, John Sabo and I, looked at as likely to see redevelopment over the next 10 years. And it's one of the criteria you have to look at when you put together your vacant land adjustment analysis, which we're also looking at. Both of those sites are likely to develop sometime in the next 10 years, and if they were to develop for housing, they would generate a certain amount of housing. So that's the first step in the report, determining what our RDP, our realistic development potential, would be, and then ask for a vacant land adjustment for the rest. The second part of the plan is how do we intend to meet that? We are going to be proposing some rehabilitation of both of those sites. The Pan Chemical site, we have a developer who we're working with to see if, in fact, we can get a project there that we can live with. The original plan submitted by that developer was one we could not accept. It was housing at a density far beyond anything we've ever seen here before, underparked, overdeveloped. We have a notion that there's going to be housing on that site. And I don't want the people of Hawthorne to think otherwise. It is right next to a train station. It is one that the developer insists they wish to develop for housing. And given its proximity to a rail line, it's hard to imagine that any court is not going to automatically say it's a perfect spot for housing. There's housing across the street. There's housing next door. There's housing all in that area, including multifamily. So again, that site is one that we are going to, John Sabo and I recommend to you as one conducive for housing. The Chevy site's a different site because it's in our NPP district. It is within our development of downtown. We cannot just allow those sites to be developed strictly as housing. So in those sites, while there is a notion we could recommend housing, it would always be coupled with a commercial aspect to it. So those are the two key properties to our redevelopment, or not a redevelopment, but our affordable housing plan. You'll be receiving that report no later than the 23rd of May. That'll be in Lori's hands. It'll be provided to you. It'll be provided to the planning board. And that's the protocol from here. Lori graciously has stepped up to do all the notice requirements for both the planning board and the municipality. Thank you, Lori. And John Sabo is working very hard to fine-tune the housing element of Fair Share Plan. And all I can say to you is I hope you consider it in the context it's presented, which is we think best for Hawthorne. And that's all I have on the subject. It's not a great subject, but at the same time, we have done reasonably well with some of the projects we've had by managing them the right way. The bedroom project came out okay. Same thing with a long time ago, Lafayette Hills. So we have projects that we can look at and say, yeah, they're not terrible. They're not everything we want, but they're not bad compromises. We hope for the same here. So that's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Michael. Now I'll turn it over to our engineer, Joe Byrne.
Thank you, Mayor. The 2024-2025 roadway improvements that consist of the local aid and road program. The NJDOT has finally completed their review of the local aid project. We received their comments this morning, and our office is working to turn that around as quickly as possible so we can get on to construction. Award of the road program is on the agenda for tonight to DLS Contracting, contingent on the approval by iBank of their Division of Civil Rights documentation, which was recently submitted to their portal. The Hawthorne Hockey Rink improvements, the project is also set to be awarded to Downs Tree Service tonight. The Franklin Field Bleacher Improvements Project, that project is now complete. The Lewis Bay Second Public Library and Community Center roof leak, Pano Roofing came by on Friday, May 2nd and made some repairs. Our inspector was present. We've advised the library to keep an eye out for any potential leaks in the future, just to make sure that the repairs were sufficient, that they stick. If there are any issues in the future, they will let me know, and we will act swiftly to get that fixed. But as for now, over the weekend, there weren't any leaks, so fingers crossed. Wagraw Fields 2 and 3, the bleacher improvements. Bid opening date is tentatively set for May 28th with an expected award date of the June 4th meeting. We expect the project to advertise next week. And that concludes my report, Mayor.
Thank you. The only question that I have is on the sparring of the concrete sidewalks on Central Avenue. Could you, when that's ready to go for those residents, can you just give them enough notice so in case they have to make plans of their vehicles or cars or driveways, or they can, they don't get the last minute that we're coming tomorrow morning, so to speak?
Absolutely, Mayor. We'll give them proper notice.
Great, thank you. Now I'll turn it over to my administrator, Mr. Eric Maurer.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I want to start with an apology for the chaos caused by our shape-shifting agenda tonight. I apologize both to the council and the clerk. The administration will work to try to make sure this doesn't happen this way again. The budget for 2025 is being considered for adoption tonight. I want to urge the council to vote for it after the public hearing. And once again, I want to thank the Finance Committee, the Director of Revenue and Finance, Lori Foley, and all the department heads for their hard work on this budget. Early pool membership registration at discounted rates for returning members has ended. A second and final in-person registration session at regular rates will be held this Friday from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. in the municipal building. Subsequently, registration will be done in person at the pool during operating hours. Dates for registration for the summer recreation program for children entering grades 1 through 8 are May 22nd and June 9th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m., also in the municipal building. On the dais tonight, although already listed on the agenda, are resolutions R75 and 76, which set forth details for the NJIB financing of the Phase 2 and Phase 3 service line replacement projects, which are now complete, and with low-interest bonds to be finalized when the NJIB sells its next round of bonds, likely this fall, but maybe not until next year. Bonds for our NJIB low-interest loan for a previous project, the PFAS treatment system, are scheduled to be sold in about a month, giving us our loan payment schedule on that project. Resolution R80 engages Boswell to locate our fire hydrants and our storm catch basins on our GIS system, continuing our process of documenting locations for our physical assets. The Central Avenue Storm Drain Grant application, which is the subject of resolutions R81 and 82, will require easements for construction, which will likely postpone submission of this application, but I suggest we move ahead with the resolutions. R83 authorizes membership in the Somerset County cooperative pricing system as we seek to maximize alternative purchasing opportunities to save taxpayer dollars here in town. Speaking of co-ops, Wayne Township has joined the co-op we run for the single purpose of aggregating garbage disposal costs, becoming our 6th member municipality, but actually about doubling the amount of garbage that will be handled under our master contract. Although this has no current benefit to the borough, Wayne's participation in our next round of bidding could improve the price we receive. Resolution R84 authorizes emergency repair of one of the pumps at the South Station Water Treatment and Pumping Facility. A grant application previously authorized by the council for Phase 4 of the streetscape is being finalized by our grant writer. And skip that one. A late entry to the bill list, and a significant one, is a $28,000 payment to PSE&G for an upgraded service at the Goffle Hill Pump Station. This requires a little explanation. We were initially led to believe that there would be no cost to us for this, but we were then hit with this quote for $28,000. We tried both negotiating the price with PSE&G and redesigning our project to avoid the need for the PSE&G upgrade, but neither was successful. PSE&G won't proceed without payment, and we're trying desperately to get the pump station back operational by the end of this month. It is our hope that all or most of the $28,000 will be covered as part of our insurance claim. I began with just a preview. We're going to be launching our website early next month. Lori Foley, Anna Marie, Lisa Sloopmaker have been really hard at work on that, and as soon as they get their deadbeat Department of Administration to get their information in on the updated website, we'll be ready to go. And finally, I began with an apology. I'll end with one. Sorry this report was a little long, but I'm starting to realize how few opportunities I will have to do this, and I want to get as many words in as possible. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Eric, but it's Lori Fernandez, not Lori Foley. I'm sorry.
Apology number 3.
Apology number 3.
Lori, I just wanted to ask you, do you have anything you'd like to say about the upcoming elections?
Feedback.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, thank you for your report on elections. I just wanted to add one or two things, if I may. Voter registration deadline for the primary election, as the mayor mentioned, is May 20th. Our office, the clerk's office, will remain open until 9 p.m. that night to receive your applications for new registrations, name change, or address change. The documents are online, and you also can register online on the state website if you prefer. Vote by mail ballots actually were mailed about 2 weeks ago. I know many people have received them. Just wanted to remind everybody the only way, the ways to return it to the county is by U.S. mail. But the drop box in front of the municipal building is secure and under camera, so please utilize that. It is emptied every other night by the sheriffs who come and empty it and take it back downtown, or you can deliver it by hand down to the county Board of Elections office. Do not bring it to the polling site on June 10th, any polling site, or during early voting, as they cannot be accepted there. And I think that's it. The mayor mentioned early voting starts June 3rd at our library. It is open to all Passaic County registered voters. And just as a side note, the clerks, municipal clerks of New Jersey is working diligently to try to continue as you vote in early voting. Any machine, any count, any municipality within your county, you can go to any machine. So we're trying to get that same idea here on election day. So if you're 3-3 and you're supposed to go to the high school, you can vote at the library and this and that. It's all done electronically. So we're trying to undo the lines of which polling place you must go to, because that's where your ward and district is. So that's something that they've been working on. Other than that, and in regards, I'll jump on also the website. Just want to thank all the department heads and everybody else that has been involved with updating their pages and their content and adding new information. We're excited for what we are going to be bringing. It's been cleaned up immensely. It is going to be extremely user-friendly. So the target is the middle of June to go live. So we're getting there. So thank you to everybody who's had a hand in it. And that concludes my report. So thank you for your time.
Thank you, Lori. I'd also like to thank Anne Marie Sasso because she's been playing a very big part in that also with many, many meetings before the actual work on the website took place, and she's still working with Lisa and with Lori to, any kind of updates or whatever. So, Anne Marie, thank you for your time that you're putting in. It's a lot of time. I see you there.
Thanks for putting me in, Coach. I appreciate it. This has been on the table long before I arrived, and we got a great team, so I'm thrilled. It's going to be great for the residents, so thank you.
You're welcome. Lori, just one question with regard to, so is what you mentioned, that you can go to any polling place at the general election to vote, is that in effect now, or is that going to be in effect at
It's
some
not
point?
in effect now.
Okay,
Just during the early voting period at the library.
Right.
You can go there. Anybody of the county can go and vote. You can vote in West Milford or just during early voting at this point, but the clerks, are trying to get the same scenario on election day. And it may even cut down on some of the polling sites that we have open, but we'll see.
okay.
It's a work in progress.
Thank you. Mr. President, that concludes our administration report. We'll answer any questions that the council may have.
Questions? Dominic?
I have questions, but it's gonna take a long time, I think, Michael.
Longer than Eric's report?
Who determines who determines the property, like you're talking, Pan Chemical? We know it's contaminated. Who determines you can put housing on there or not? You know what I'm saying?
The process is, we, as a municipality, begin by looking at all vacant and developable sites.
Right.
And when we finish with that analysis, we are required to next look to all sites that within the next 10 years are likely to redevelop. So while the Pan Chemical site is still undergoing cleanup and is a long way from being clean, there is no question that within the next 10 years, it's going to clean up and be ready for redevelopment. So as a result, we have to count that acreage in our housing element and fair share plan, at least for determining what's called our RDP, the realistic development potential. What we do with this site is another story altogether, but it has to be included at least for counting purposes.
The state does, to answer your question. You need a no further action report that states it's not contaminated.
But the DCA, the Department of Consumer Affairs, determines this, even though it's an industrial contaminated site.
Well,
It
no,
has
the
to be-
DCA doesn't, no, the,
The DCA determines the number of units that we have to build.
no, they only determined an initial hypothetical number, which we fought from 300 down to 200. Ultimately, what decides the number of units is going to be the Superior Court. If, for instance, if we decide, we'll play it out, we say the Pan Chemical site is not one that's good for housing. And we'd say, we just don't want housing there because it's zoned industrial, it is contaminated. When we said that last round, because quite honestly, it's showed zero movement towards any kind of cleanup. Since that time, it's been leveled, it is cleaned up in terms of the buildings being removed. The ongoing treatment is there, and we have a developer now who is ready to finish the environmental cleanup of the site. So because of that, that site will be available for redevelopment sometime within the next 10 years. And then the question would become, so say we leave it out, I can assure you that that developer will have us in court tomorrow morning. We'll file our report on June 30th, and on July 1, that developer will have us in court, And instead of us determining what goes on that site, a judge will determine it. And we won't get a 3-story building, I can assure you of that. We will get a 6-story building, 5-story, something far bigger, because Fair Share Housing and the Builders Association will be behind them. It's not a great scenario, but that's what we're looking at.
I'm waiting you, Frank, you're the man.
Well,
He
look,
didn't answer the question he asked, Mike.
yeah.
He said, who determines it's clean enough to put residential?
Oh, no, who determines it's clean enough?
That's what he said.
I didn't understand you to say that, sorry. I gave a very long
I
answer
answered it,
otherwise.
but you didn't
Frank did answer it.
I know he did.
It's the DEP. It's actually an
You were right, though,
LSRP.
about the answer being longer than you thought.
Sorry, Frank. It is an LSRP with DEP oversight and blessing. True, Raina?
I had a follow-up question about Pan Chemical, not for Michael to answer. I'm going to go with Raina. Raina. All
You
the,
think she's shorter?
And you thought that's gonna be better?
it's
will
an easy question. All the tarps that were covering that large mound of dirt have disintegrated and are gone. Who's responsible for putting new tarps on?
The property owner.
Whoever's
Property
doing the
owner.
cleanup.
Honestly, that pile has been there for a very long time.
Yes.
And there are storage tanks on that property. Can we start giving property maintenance? Because they shouldn't be there. They should be removed. And I believe there's drums there too.
We
So-
certainly, we have a scheduled meeting with the property owner coming up, and we will say it's time for you to start throwing, cleanup into high gear. One of the problems that's happening there is that a court has determined that Pan Chemical is responsible to clean the property. Since Pan Chemical no longer owns the property, it's moving at a very, very slow pace. And its insurance carrier, which is also funding the cleanup, is moving at a very slow pace. The individual who now owns the property and controls its redevelopment is willing to speed up that pace, but he's not going to speed up the pace if he can't build something on it. And that's where we are.
I'm just looking for the tarps that were there and some
Oh,
remnants
I
there.
gave a long answer again.
You
The
did.
property owner.
We could have recycled them.
Now we could,
Nice.
we really should get property maintenance out there to put those tarps back on.
Could we move on? please?
Anything else,
I'm
Donna?
fine, I'm fine. thank
Anna
you.
Marie?
So of course, it's with the same subject matter. I'm going to try to keep it as abbreviated as I can. So theoretically speaking, we're responsible for 200 affordable housing units over the next 10 years, theoretically speaking. And I know there's credit for rehabilitation of certain units. Let's just go with 200,000. I'm just trying to do the math in my head. How many developed units does that 200,000 mean?
500.
200 units, it's 20% of whatever figure we have. So there'll be 1,000 total new units of construction. We've determined,
My
and I,
chest gets tight when we talk
no,
about
no,
it,
no, I
because
can
we just
tell
don't have
you,
the,
I can tell you that John's report, and I've read it and we've gone through it in detail, will say that the realistic development potential of this town is 23 affordable units over the next 10 years. So that is 20% of what's that, about 115. So can,
which is in the hopper already.
which 115, no, it's not, but
You're not
115.
including Goffel Road?
No, that was in the last round.
Okay.
So 115 new units of being developed in this town in the next 10 years is realistic. That's not unrealistic. So we're looking at 23 affordable units and a unmet need of 177. I will tell you that Fair Share Housing and the Builders Association will challenge that too, and said we need to build more, we need to build at greater
Of course,
densities.
we're going to get sued no matter what. That's
Of
going
course
to
we
happen
are.
because we simply will never win that argument because we can't satisfy that. The other part of my question is, for myself and for the residents' benefit, we know that we're not making this request. This is being put on us. Are there other ingredients that come into play when making this requirement on all of the municipalities? Because we have more responsibility than just developing the housing. We have the infrastructure requirements. We have to educate the children that will be living in these houses. What about that huge component to developing these properties?
The state of New Jersey says, suck it up.
We don't care. Well, we have to care, right? And so this is part
We
of
do.
our
When-
consideration in making these decisions.
So one of the,
Progress is wonderful, and I want it, but it has to make sense for the rest of the foundation of the town. We can't collapse if we, we have to be responsible in these decisions, so it's part of our decision-making.
so some of the considerations that you speak of are just those, which are the infrastructure, will it support? Are we building housing in areas where we can physically support it? The other thing is kids in school. That is an issue. The positive, if there is one, is that every developer who wants to build in Hawthorne now wants to build apartments. The number of school kids who are generated from apartment complexes are very small. The minimal numbers,
Well,
so,
you know,
which is good, because our school
That's a two-sided argument.
population.
I don't know that we can say that for sure.
No, we
because-
can absolutely say, the history and the statistics make that an absolute, nobody wants to believe it, but there's developments in North Haledon that have gone in with 200 units, and they said there'll be 10 kids, there's 11. I mean, it's like that, fine. The numbers are really there. So, the school kids is not going to be the issue. And frankly, we have capacity in our schools. What we don't have necessarily is going to be infrastructure capacity for water, stormwater carrying and the like. So, and developers are going to have to address those issues.
That's a big concern for me. I want to, be a part of making good decisions for the entire town. Progress is wonderful, and we want to grow. We want to grow in a positive fashion and increase, improve our makeup, right? But I am concerned about that for us as a whole. So we want to make good decisions, and look, we're going to get sued no matter what if somebody doesn't get their way, a developer. We can't stop that. Towns all over the state are suing, going against this jagged pill that we're getting in terms of the affordable housing. It's going to happen just like you say it's happening. You get doled out 300, they'll come down to 200, and every developer that isn't going to get the quantity they want is going to sue.
But the good news is this, and this is why I say to you, I urge you to take positions that are understanding what the consequences are. So if we are in the court with, let's suppose, take any parcel of land, and we say this should be developed at X number of units per acre, X stories, and we create all that, and the developer wants more. The fact that we have already created the zoning that says, here's what fits with our town, actually gives us a significant leg up than if we just say, we are excluding this piece of property and we allow the developer to come in with a blank canvas in front of him. And we've got an indefensible position. If we are going to say, no, you get to build 0 on that site, we will get what Englewood Cliffs got, which is thousands of units of housing that they didn't want because they played it the
I don't know
wrong
that
way.
that's an apple-to-apple situation, but I don't disagree with you about being compliant to the degree that we can.
Right, and to try to
That
take
works for
something.
us.
It's one of
about
those
us.
things where you try to take control over that which you can control and do what you can to make things work.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Bruce?
Oh, no.
Rena?
I have a couple questions. For the Downs Tree Service that we're awarding tonight, the roller hockey rink, do we have a time frame, Eric, when we're planning on doing that work?
Yeah, it has to be over the summer. So,
So the end of June?
yeah, they will start once the school is out, and they will have to be done before school is back in session. I think the estimate is for like 4 or 5 weeks total for the project. So if they start on time, they'll be done well before Labor Day.
Okay, so school ends June 17th.
The agreement that was passed with the Board of Education states that work can't start until July 1st, I believe. But
And previously, we were told it's not even a 2-week project, correct?
no, it'll take approximately 4 to 5 weeks.
4 or 5 weeks, okay, my memory's wrong.
Okay.
So time is of the essence. So if they started July 1, they have to start July 1. Okay. Rain is going to play a factor, I'm assuming?
It's not gonna rain July 1st. I checked.
So
What
is
about
that,
the second, third, fourth, fifth?
No guarantee.
So,
all right,
thank you, I'm not gonna ask.
It leaves a few
It is what it
weeks of leeway, so it shouldn't be an issue.
All right.
okay.
I mean, the good thing about this, there is nothing that the contractor has to order. It's just a matter
It's labor.
we award the contract, we get the contract documents signed, we have a pre-construction meeting, and then they schedule the start for when we want them to start. There's nothing that has to be ordered that we have to wait for delivery on. That's already been ordered, and it will be delivered in time for the contractor to start.
And this contractor's not ever failed us, so,
Well, and there are also lights that you could work a longer shift if you had to.
Yeah.
You know, not saying
right.
double shift, but you can work till 6 or 7 o'clock.
But let's face it, if you put Kevin Downs on the job, it's going to happen.
It brings a lot of comfort, actually.
What was
Right.
your second question? Randy?
So my second one, Eric, for the NJIB, the Phase 2 and Phase 3, did we get any principal forgiveness, or are we getting a low interest rate?
I don't know yet. We submit everything, and then they will make their determination, so.
At the end?
I think after everything goes into them, but I'm not that familiar with the process, but that's my understanding, however accurate or inaccurate it might be.
First, you have to pass the bill before you know what's in it.
Okay, thanks.
Mike?
No, I have nothing, thank you.
Joe?
Nothing.
Okay. Can I have a motion, anything else, Mayor?
No, that's all. Thank you.
Can I have a motion to record the administrative agenda? Motion by Mealy,
Second.
second by Bennett, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Introduction of ordinances, we have none. But then we'll move on to our public hearing for the 2025 municipal budget. I now open the meeting to the public. Anyone desires to be heard on the 2025 municipal budget of the Borough of Hawthorne, please come forward to the microphone, state your name for the record. Seeing no one, I entertain a motion to close the public hearing of the 2025
So
motion.
moved.
Second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Neely. All in favor? Aye. Okay. We have budget resolutions. We have BR 01-25 is authorization to read the 2025 municipal budget by title. And BR 02-25 is adoption of the 2025 budget of the Borough of Hawthorne, County of Passaic.
It's not on my agenda.
We want to see it.
That was what she went to get
That's what she made a copy of. It was on your old agenda.
on the old one.
And I'm glad I had the old one, because that gave me the stuff to read. So can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Bennett, second by Leosa. Roll call.
Council President, I apologize. We actually need roll call separately for each of these.
That's what I thought, but we got them combined. But okay,
Do
we'll go back.
Do you
we'll go
want
back.
this one?
No, we'll go
One of
back.
these has it the right way.
No. So BR 05-25 is authorized to read the 2025 municipal budget by title. 0125. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion
Second.
by Bennett, second by Leosa. Roll call.
Bennett,
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Watecki. Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
BR 02-25, adoption of the 2025 municipal budget, Borough of Hawthorne, County of Passaic. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bennett, second by Leosa.
God bless you.
Roll call.
Watecki.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Bennett.
Yes, with apologies, since that seems to be the style tonight.
Matthews.
No.
No.
Resolutions. Let me go back to the new one. We have consent agenda R 74-25 through 84-25. R 74-25 is a pool change fund. R 75-25 is NJIB note sale. R 76-25 is NJIB note sale. R 74-25. Nope, forget that. Never mind. I'm working on 3 different agendas here. R 77-25 is the award of the 2025 and 2024 road improvement programs to DLS Contracting. R 78-25 is award of the contract for the purchase and delivery of calcium hypochlorite chloride for drinking water Coin Chemical. R79-25 is awarded the contract for the roller hockey rink board replacement to Downs Tree Service. R80-25 is professional services, ArcGIS online services and support, Boswell Engineering. R81-25 is authorized application for the DOT 2025 LAIF grant and Central Ave drainage improvements. R82-25, authorized grant writers to submit the NJDOT 2025 LAIF grant application. And R83-25 is to authorize membership to the Somerset County Co-op pricing system. And R84-25 is emergency repair of effluent pump 1 at South Station to rapid pump. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by second by Mealy. No, there is no 85-25 now.
Eric, this is different than the pump
got
up here,
pulled.
right?
Very confusing.
Yeah, this pump is at the south station.
This
That's
one,
not the one
and
that got
this one.
flooded.
Yeah. No. I want to confirm that we pulled 85? That's what I thought. Okay.
Oh, we're pulling that.
Well, it didn't make the second round.
Yeah, it
It
was,
didn't get,
The first one.
it
it
didn't
never
get
really
through time.
came into existence.
It was in discussion, it was on the agenda, but it never materialized, so that's why it's not here tonight. Roll call?
Bennett.
Yes.
Leosa.
Yes.
Mealy.
Yes.
Sasso.
Yes.
Skiara.
Yes.
Watecki.
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Reports of special committees. Joe, we'll start your way.
Excellent. Let's start with the Board of Health. Rabies clinic is May 13th in the pool parking lot. Now, just on the subject of geese with Board of Health, Board of Health is asking that any of the any of the teams that are playing at any of our fields to please close the gates. After the geese have their babies, they refuse to fly, so the parents always stay with the geese. So if you close the gate, they can't get back in onto our fields and more than likely stay in low drainage areas. So please close the gates behind them. Switching to Shade Tree Commission, we're looking for a community forest grant. We're also looking for a See a Kind grant for the shade tree with an updated inventory. And I'd also like to plug, if any shade tree concerns or pruning, please call 427-5555, option 6. That is all.
Mike,
Nope, not tonight.
Rena,
Not tonight.
Bruce. No, sir. Anna Marie.
Okay. The Board of Education met last night, and I will first announce that they did approve their budget, and we know that that's no easy task, especially when they lose a lot of their state funding. So I applaud them for getting through that hurdle. And I first want to just say that the High School Student Council ran the meeting last night seamlessly. These kids impress me to death. And I would like to formally ask us to do that one time a year. Have this,
We have.
We have.
The schools didn't want to do it anymore.
are you kidding?
I kid you not. Mr. Ward from the high school used to coordinate for Board of Ed and the high school
Wow.
and the council.
Just take them out for dinner.
We don't count?
We would take them out to dinner, we would show
Darn
them
it.
around the municipal building, they toured the building with the mayor.
Wow.
And then they decided when he retired, we're not doing it anymore.
Well,
Laura used to give them a quiz. That's right.
well, they ran the entire meeting. They performed as who they were sitting with, and it was
It
really
was always an
amazing.
enjoyable event when they came.
Oh, well, maybe we can, okay, forget it. I'm not done. Hold on.
Good try, though.
Jeez Louise. They did welcome the new superintendent, Mr. Matt Minganelli from Wayne. So welcome to our town, Matt. Welcome to the family. And of course, they're saying goodbye to our Dr. Rick Sparito on his well-deserved retirement. He certainly has left his mark on all of us. The children gave retirement awards to well-deserved retiring professionals throughout the school system, and they also acknowledged and congratulated the 2024-2025 Governor Educators of the Year. In summation, congratulations to everybody who works for us, works for our children, works with our children, handles our children every day. We thank you, we applaud you, and to those who are fortunate enough to be retiring, Godspeed. The next meeting for Board of Education will be held June 10th at the Hawthorne High School at 7 PM. That concludes my report.
Look at all the stuff you did.
You know, nothing or something. Unbelievable.
Whatever you say, Anna
I'm
Marie.
gonna have a,
We liked it down here.
thank you,
Okay,
Joe.
Good job.
Good job, Anne Marie,
Mamma mia.
wonderful.
How about you,
Don't
Dominic?
miss me when I'm gone.
I'd like, are we done? I'd like to acknowledge our fire department. A week ago, Tuesday morning, there was a fire on Sixth Avenue, a garage fire, and again, they saved the house. It was really going, and then on Monday morning at Columbia Bank, there was a overheated fan, and our boys, I should say, the fire department, excuse me, Joe, our fire department went there again and saved the building.
Like 4 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock, you weren't there, Mary, were you?
Of course.
He was
Oh,
sleeping.
wow. Wow. So I want to just acknowledge that. They do a fabulous job. They're volunteers, like the ambulance corps, and they do a great job. So, thank you.
Okay, Chamber of Commerce wants to remind everyone that this week is Small Business Week, so please shop local and support our local businesses. The more you support them, the more they can help us when it's time to ask them for events and things like that. Planning Board met last evening, and as our attorney outlined, he discussed the redevelopment plans and timeframes that we won't go into again. And that's all I have. Correspondence, we have none, but we have bills. Give a motion to approve the bills and forward them to the treasurer for payment.
So moved.
Motion by Skiera. Second by, who?
Second.
Mealy? Okay. Roll call.
Woodchucky,
Abstain on the fire department, yes on all others.
Skiara,
Abstain, Ridgewood Press, yes on all others.
Sasso,
Yes.
Mealy,
Yes.
Leosa,
Abstain on Hawthorne Environmental Commission, and yes on all others.
Bennett,
Yes.
Matthews.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Public comment. Now open the meeting to the public. If anyone desires to be heard, go forward to the microphone and state your name. Did it light up green? Should see a little green ring around the. There you go.
Good evening. I'm Jack Lohr, 319 Van Winkle Avenue. I come tonight with a comment, congratulation, and a question. My comment is that tonight's budget with a tax increase will be painful for some, but living in Hawthorne is still a bargain. Last year, our average property tax bill was less than our neighbors, all of our neighbors except for Patterson. Less than Fairlawn, Glen Rock, Ridgewood, Wyckoff, North Haledon, and Prospect Park. We're doing a good job, and thank you. That's my comment.
It's half of what Glen Rock's is.
Yeah. As you know, I also believe in doing everything possible to find alternatives to increasing taxes. In 2021, over 4 years ago, I contacted the borough administrator about unclaimed funds belonging to Hawthorne, and I received the reply, "We'll look into this." Last year, I reached out again, and then in February, I came to the council to alert you about Hawthorne's unclaimed money and offered to serve as an authorized third-party locator. The mayor followed up within 24 hours, actually, and said that they would rather have the chief financial officer apply for the funds, and with the budget process, we were quite busy at the time. This week, I spoke with Hawthorne CFO Laurie Foley and learned that the claims are being submitted. So I want to say congratulations.
How much are we getting back?
I hope that the amounts, if not large, will at least feel like it was worth the effort. I look forward to hearing how much we get back for Hawthorne. And on another topic, this is my question. I noticed that the other day, I noticed today, that we have 6 police vehicles outside the municipal parking area on Grand with expired inspection stickers, including 4 that should have been inspected last year, 2 that should have been inspected in 2023, and 1 vehicle that has no inspection sticker at all. I was informed by the dispatcher that these vehicles are not being operated illegally. They're just parked there. Some of them haven't been used in over a year. I wonder if these are surplus vehicles. That's my question. Could they be sold to generate additional funds for the borough? Will you look into this?
We have an auction every year where they take out the oldest cars. If we can rotate them into like a DPW or another department, we will. But there's generally about 4 cars, because we try and buy 4 cars, 3 cars a year, and then phase out the other ones. And it's what, gov.com, it's usually our auction site,
Yeah.
Gov Deals.
Well,
So if you want to buy one,
Actually now, with our
Leasing,
fleet
with the leasing list.
management, they will be disposed through Enterprises network.
and we get credit for it.
Yes, we're getting,
get credit.
we're getting credit for them, and we're upping the number we're getting rid of because we are downsizing the fleet as we get newer vehicles. So that's why there's more than 4 at this point, because we're getting rid of more excess vehicles than we've had in the past.
And it's not just the police department. Our DPW is going to be getting rid of a couple of vehicles that are past the life cycle.
Excellent.
So it might be a pickup truck out there if you want to.
Plus,
And
there's
all-
2
all-
new ones there. They just came in this week, right, Mayor?
We got, they
Two new
came
ones
in,
came in this
they
week.
came in today,
So that's why there's no
and they're,
stickers on them.
they're also hybrid.
Thank you for your time.
I have a question for you.
Yes,
Why do you have 2 street addresses on your front door?
I've been busy with other things. Thank you so much. I'll take care of it in the next week.
No, I don't care. I was just curious.
When
Because
we-
it used to be an issue with your tax bill having a different address than the street address. But
Exactly.
the reason I'm asking is I was told we corrected all that. And if it has not been corrected, I wanted to follow up for you.
Thank you.
I don't care.
It has been corrected.
Okay, there you go.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else wish to be heard?
I'd kind of like to get a second number on my house.
Go ahead.
Probably had one, you just didn't know it.
No, I just want to make sure that
Yeah.
his was corrected.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is not available.
Right, press the little button, press the button.
Kathy Seraphin, 148 North Watchung. 2 quick questions. It's too bad you can't just raise your hand when the subject comes up because, okay, so that house that is the eyesore, can we fine him or
Oh, we do
sue
every
him?
week.
Every,
And he just keeps paying it?
No, he doesn't.
No, he
pay.
doesn't
No.
pay it. So then can't we sue him for not paying that?
Kathy, what?
We are.
What we've done is every day, our inspector goes by, takes a picture, and writes a summons. And I mean, there's well over 200 summonses that are sitting on the prosecutor's desk and going to the judge in Prospect Park. And the reason that it's in Prospect Park is because there's a conflict of interest between our judge and the defendant.
And the second one is just really quick. So those new apartments that are on Wagler Road, those are not fair housing
Yes.
apartments? Those are
there's
fair housing also?
17 of them are
Only
fair
17.
housing. Yeah.
The
Okay,
required
so that's why we
percentage.
have to do more because we don't have enough yet. Got it. Thank you very much.
That's a whole new round. That was 3rd round, this is 4th round. They came in the 2015 to 2025 round, now we're in the 2025 to 2035 round, 4th round. We have to find all new sites.
I get it. Thank you very much.
Anyone else wish to be heard? Sir?
Michael, could a new governor potentially abolish fair share housing?
Well, no,
That's what he,
no.
that's what he said that's
I-
on his agenda.
I understand a new governor could try to do things to substantially water down a lot of what's in there, but the legislature would have to change the legislation, and our courts have already ruled that affordable housing is a constitutional right. So to put your eggs in the basket of November, it would be a very, very long shot
I wasn't
proposition.
advocating that. I was just curious as
Yeah.
to how it works.
But, I mean, look, we do have people who try to get elected governor, let's say, and try to issue administrative orders. I don't know if you ever saw anybody who tries to do that on a federal level,
He
but.
could also appeal it, he could also appeal it to the United States Supreme Court, and they could rule on our court system and their definition of the Constitution, which is probably more jurisdictional to be able to rule on that.
I don't see that there's any likelihood of that because the decision made by the Supreme Court of this state was 1975.
But it's been in control of that, and no one has brought it to the federal court to ask.
No, there were federal challenges to it
Get
also,
Florida to do it.
but, yeah,
Yeah, we'll get Phil to do it.
yeah.
He's pretty good at it. Sir, floor is yours.
John Bertolo, 148 Washington Avenue, sitting home comfortably watching TV tonight, put you guys on for a minute, and immediately became angry when I listened to Michael's report about COA again and what that's doing to our town. I just want to make the public very clear, because I think you all know very clear, this is the Democrats in Trenton that jammed this down our throats. We have Lafayette Hills, we have 204 Wagra Road, we have Nexus Plastics, who's going to expand, put towers in because of liberal judges. There's an answer to all of this, and I disagree respectfully with Michael. January 2026, when Jack Ciattarelli is our governor, and we sweep this state with Republican legislators, this will all change. The first thing on his agenda, Ciattarelli, is to do away with COA. The second thing on his agenda is to start the school funding process and fix it so that our Board of Education doesn't get hamstrung with budgets that lose all their state aid. It's disgusting what happens that the Trenton Democrats continue to kill our towns, and they take care of their towns. You know, when Newark's get and hundreds of millions of dollars in state aid and Hawthorne loses money, it's not a fair formula. When they come up with 200 fair housing units or 1,000 new housing units in Hawthorne when we don't have property, it's going to be Pan Chemical next, then it's going to be Congress Mills. And then they're going to take every little piece of property in this town and jam high-density housing into our community and ruin the fabric of what we have. So I encourage all of you to think about that when you go to the polls. Change has to come, and it only comes through the election. Elections have consequences. So let's make sure we do the right thing for Hawthorne. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Seeing no one else, can I entertain a motion to close the public portion of the meeting? Motion by Mealy, second by Bennett. All in favor? Aye. Our next council meeting is Wednesday, May 21st at 7 PM. Have a motion to adjourn. Motion by Wadecki, second by Skiera. All in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.
Thank you.